So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Love of Paul McGrath podcast for a post-match for Aston Villa versus AZ. Aston Villa 2, AZ 1. We got out of there with the win. It was never in doubt. But it was actually really in doubt, if truth be known. But like realistically speaking, I know the commentators and the broadcasts that I was watching anyway tried to make it look and sound very much like Villa were at 6s and 7s. And I just never felt that we really were at 6s and 7s. I felt that we had the better of the play for a good share of the game. And yes, there was a 10-minute either side of halftime spell, which Villa actually need to do a bit more study on. Looking at Stato's tweets during the game, I think that's their 9th goal that they've scored within 15 minutes of halftime either side, or they've conceded, should I say. So there is a small bit of work to be done there. Yeah, look, things weren't tight. There was so much talk going on in the broadcast I watched about the high line again, which just, I'm beginning to find it lazy, to be honest with you, the discussions about the high line. I'm just beginning to find it lazy. It's what Villa are going to do. And it's like other teams. Why there was massive holes in the AZ backline. Like they started complimenting Ronald Wolf. I thought he was brutal again tonight. I thought he was poor tonight again. I thought every time we wanted to go at him, we could have got at him at will. What I did find at Aston Villa were the issue I had with Aston Villa is something I pointed out about and sorry, I'm just watching some of the highlights here again as it's still on. I was just waiting to see if somebody was being interviewed. What I did find again is the lack of willingness to shoot again, and it's obviously part of a tactic that Aston Villa have, that they're happier to cross the ball into the box than they are to shoot. That's just something I want to keep an eye on over the next few weeks because, as I say, we've gotten some really good goals from shooting from distance this season. We've gotten some great platforms in games from having that pot shot from distance, and it goes in, nestles in the bottom corner. We just didn't feel like we wanted to do that again tonight. We didn't want to do it against Forest. But look, 3 points at home in a game that was pretty stagnant for a lot of parts of the game. Look, I suppose really that's just a massive plus point. Win at all cost, and we keep our massive, brilliant winning run at home going. Paddy's here. He's dragged himself out to come visit us again. Paddy, 2-1 Aston Villa versus ALKMAAR. Talk to me about it. Not that it didn't blow up like we thought. No, look. Before we go any further, look. Just don't. I waited for you to come on before I said, listen, I knew I was going to be right. It was going to be 2-1. But anyway, that's just my Mystic Meg moment over and done with.
Well, I'm surprised I still have a voice from being ill and roaring at a totally incompetent referee and roaring at the absolute shithousery of that fucking idiot of a left back, whatever you call him, Wolf, who every time he was touched was roaring before he hit the ground, or roaring before he was touched. It was a disgrace. Anyway, I had a little look around the referees that refereed in the Conference League tonight, and I couldn't find any English referees to compare him to. So they obviously don't feel there's someone good enough or bad enough to referee at that level. But I did find Craig Pawson refereeing Karabag in the Europa League. But I'm going to compare him to Jared Gillett because, my God, he was fucking awful. He ruined the game. Absolutely ruined the game. He didn't know what a foul was. 3 cynical fouls in the space of 2.5 minutes. I made it. No card. Like, they're going to keep doing it until they get a card, no matter what referee you have. So totally weak from the out goal, ruined the game, ruined it as a spectacle. I thought absolutely poor. But the bottom line is here: we're 6 points clear. We're, barring a miracle, going to be in the draw in February or March. And look, we've a lot to be thankful for. I'm delighted.
And more or less, like barring a huge, like massive turnaround in results, ALKMAAR are teetering on the edge, if not gone already.
Yeah.
After that, Legia Warsaw won today.
Well, they actually have a little bit of a hope because if we go and beat Legia, they still have to play Legia, so they could potentially catch them. But it's going to be.
We go and we well, then again, yeah, if we go and we run out a draw against Legia, that means we finish more than likely finish second, although then they play Legia, and if we beat Mostar and then we go ahead of Legia, you know, we take it into our own hands that way. But if we go and play a draw against Legia, then that knocks ALKMAAR out. You know, which nobody would have thought of at the start of the season. Nobody.
No.
Like you would have got way better money on Aston Villa getting knocked out in the group stages than ALKMAAR. I think, based on where ALKMAAR went last season, in this tournament. But
and look, I don't believe they. I believe quite similar to us that these guys are well managed as opposed to being world beaters. They're obviously very good. Their league form is excellent, but there's not a bunch of good players in there. There's a bunch of well managed players in there, so we should be beating them. You've lost your earpod again. We should be beating them. We have beaten them. We've a lot to be thankful for. We got the goal. We the goal disallowed. I think the goal that was disallowed was by the letter of the law was disallowed, and he took 6 corner kicks in the first half and did the exact same thing with each one. Laboured himself getting back onto the pitch. He didn't learn his lesson from the first one anyway.
I thought his corners were. I thought the corner delivery from him was really good tonight.
Oh, his delivery was fine.
Really good. Delivery was brilliant.
Every time the ball broke, he was still in an offside position, and his delivery was absolutely.
Happen?
I know. But you do compensate for it when it does happen. But
and to be honest with you, not a lot of people, even the AZ players didn't know. Like when Pavlidis knocks it off the line, you immediately think because it's deliberate action. Remember the deliberate action, Paddy, when Rodri got that goal? Was it Rodri? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? When Mings heads the ball back, and then obviously,
well, Rodri didn't score it. He took the ball off him, didn't he?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and there was a deliberate action there. Well, you know, it's imprinted in a lot of Aston Villa's minds, and then obviously, you know, you go to Twitter, you see that was a deliberate action to get it off the line, which it was. But I suppose, you know, we profited directly from it. Yeah, I can live with that because I felt it was probably the right decision. Albeit I thought that there could have been grey areas. But I was worried that I was going to have to shave you, Paddy. I was very worried I was going to have to shave you.
And I don't think that, like, the worst decision of the night was giving us a corner that we scored from.
Craddock. There was next near.
I didn't even celebrate that because in my head I'm thinking the ball has been restarted from the corner. I'm trying to get my head around the fact, can they go back and have a look at this? But once the game had restarted, I guess they can't. But I didn't really celebrate it for that reason because I went, that is not a corner. How it took the
VAR can't overturn it anyway, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's part of the passage of play, but I think once the play resumes, they can't do anything about it, can they? Isn't that what we're told?
They can't overturn like corner decisions.
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's only for serious foul play and for goals and for offsides. Like, but they can't overturn.
Either way, it's an absolutely abysmal decision by the officials to give a corner in that position. And I tell you one very happy man that they did, and that's Boubacar Kamara.
Yeah. He had a bit of a shinner there for that one, all right. Didn't he? Joe Barana saying, I jinxed us again. I got the score bang on 100% right that we were going to win 2-1. So I positively jinxed us into winning the game. I think that's what I did. I want to give a bit of a shout out to somebody today, Paddy, or to a player on the field today for Aston Villa, because I thought in the first 25 minutes, I actually thought he was Leon Bailey at times in the first 25 minutes. Ezri Konsa at right back was brilliant. I can understand why he was taken off, and I was happy he was taken off as well, because just to give him a bit of a break. And when we didn't go 3 at the back, Paddy, and he was an orthodox fullback, if you want to call that, first 5 minutes he runs forward with the ball, he just strides forward. Like, I've no problem holding my hands up and saying at the start of last season I was very worried, because and I still feel vindicated in the fact that I was worried about him. But Jesus, he's been really good this season. You put him anywhere. Put him anywhere. Like, I would not be surprised before the end of this year to see Ezri Konsa playing in a 6th position if we were stuck for players, if we had injuries within the team. He's just been brilliant, and I thought he was really good out there on that right wing again tonight. They didn't try the crossfield balls. The commentator kept on talking about crossfield balls to Van Bommel. The reason they didn't try it was because Konsa was locked down over there, and fair play to him. I think he's just really maturing into the leader that we need.
He must be one of the most underrated footballers in the Premier League. He just flies completely under that radar. It's laughable he's not in that England squad. Absolutely laughable. And congratulations for Ollie Watkins. Deservedly in it again today. But how he's not in it is absolutely beyond me. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. For us, it's great that he gets 2 weeks with a bit of a break, and the rest of that training with Unai Emery with us. And there's a few players that are going to benefit from that, the likes of Moreno, Duran. No, Duran is probably away, sorry. But, we didn't see Moreno tonight. So players like that, we're going to see. Obviously, their loads will be upped over the next couple of weeks. And it'll be interesting. Like, we should come back totally refreshed after this international break. There's some lads there crying out for a break, and they will get it. It's just a pity that the likes of Pau Torres will go away with Spain and not get a few minutes. I'd much prefer he went on a holiday to Dubai for a few nights and lapped up a bit of sunshine in November. But it's job done. That was the most important thing tonight, was to get across the line. It means we can go head to head with Warsaw the next day, and then we'll have to deal with my conspiracy theory to whether Chris Heck wants an extra game in February for Villa Park.
I can probably guarantee you Unai Emery doesn't want an extra game in February. So we'll see who the power struggle. No, our conspiracy is out, Paddy. The power struggle is already on. Who's going to win? Is Unai Emery?
What I'm trying here is a bit of reverse psychology, because I don't want us to be in that playoff in February. We need to be pushing for top place. We need to put Warsaw to bed and then go and play a bore draw in Mostar. That'll do us absolutely fine. But once we go and take 3 points off them, all is good.
And just after watching the Kamara miss again, like, genuinely, I'm flabbergasted as to how either the referee or the linesman thought that was a corner. Wild. Like he's nowhere near it.
Because it's such a poor miss, and because he crumbles after it goes over the bar. That's the only logical explanation I can think of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so for sure. Paddy, you said something there, and I was too busy laughing at the replay I was watching here, and you said something there, and I wanted to come back to it. It'll come to me in a moment. Douglas Luiz, Paddy. So I was calling for, and it was purely tactical. I called for Douglas Luiz and Duran to come on, and I should have known. I should have looked at the subs bench, because Zaniolo made way more sense to come on. But I was calling for the two of them to come on. And the reason that I wanted them to come on was because there is gradations of players, and I think that's fair to say. Thought Tielemans tried his arse off there tonight. I thought, like, no fault at all for effort, no fault at all for the majority of how he played, because I thought he was really good. He was very progressive with the ball.
He was excellent, absolutely excellent.
Douglas Luiz is better, and I just thought that
if we
wanted to keep the same shape, I would have been like, bringing off Kamara and bringing on Douglas Luiz would have made no sense to me tonight. But bringing off Tielemans, who's ran himself into the ground in 75 minutes and has played some really good stuff out there, and bringing on Douglas Luiz for the last 50 minutes was the right thing to do. And also bring off Diaby, I think, was the right thing to do. I thought he found it difficult to get into the game. I thought himself and Bailey were robbing each other's space out there. And they're robbing each other's space because both of them were licking their lips going, we can have a crack off this fella here at left back. And that's and I very much got that feeling, even from early doors, from like 7-8 minutes into the game. I was like, these guys are going to rob each other's space. And then Diaby was kind of having to force himself unnaturally to go right up top beside Watkins. And while he got on the ball a bit, I just felt that he was ineffectual at times when he was on the ball. And when he was picking it up, he was picking it up in spaces where maybe he didn't have all the space to try and run at it. So just by dint of the fact that I thought Bailey was having a better game, that Diaby would have been the one to come off. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because Douglas Luiz's ball in for the second goal for Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins' movement was fantastic as well to get himself into that position between the two centre halves. He had a tough night of it, Ollie Watkins. He was being pulled, he was being dragged.
So did Diaby. In fairness to Diaby, it probably wasn't the night for two up top. It was probably a night for playing two out-and-out wingers off Ollie Watkins, or playing Diaby further wide on one of the sides, or pushing Bailey over the other side, or whatever that case may be. Because I remember after 35 minutes hearing Diaby's name going, Jesus, I forgot he was playing. And that's no fault on him. That's just the way the game was played. It was played. So they just condensed that area that they couldn't put balls in. The one ball was pinged into Ollie Watkins at one stage, and his first touch landed about 10 yards away from him. Because that's how desperate we were to try and get the ball into him. It just wasn't working. So when I heard Diaby's name, I was like, Jesus Christ, I forgot he was there. But that's definitely no slight on him. I'm just saying that did happen, and it's a tough game when you're playing as two strikers. And let's face it, they were bullied, they were short pulled. At one stage, Watkins was clotheslined, and VAR didn't even look at it. Come on, like what the hell? There's a whole lot of play, but the moral of the whole thing is that we gave Dougie Luiz a rest for 80 minutes. He comes on, creates the goal, and he's fresh going into the weekend when we need him to hopefully pick up 3 valuable points, and they will be valuable points if we beat Fulham at the weekend. So I think we're in a good place. I feel sorry for Diego Carlos. I hope that injury isn't too long term. I didn't even see how it happened. Was it overstretching or whatever? Because
I didn't see. I'll be honest with you. I was too busy trying to put up a GIF of Bert from Sesame Street because Bertrand Traore was after coming on, and I missed it. So that was me. I completely missed it, but I do think like it looked like from the replay, it looked like it was an overstretch. Yeah, maybe kind of looked like it was precautionary because when he came off the field, he didn't look too disconsolate. And plus, they weren't ready for Pau Torres. I think it was a case of, okay, here, come here. He's after twinging his hamstring here. And I think Unai was like, no, get him off the field. Come on, Pau, let's go. You know, so.
And you could see when the physio was running onto the pitch, you could see the words being muttered, take him off, tell him he's coming off, whatever, something along those lines. So when they zoomed in onto the physio, I think it was Paco that was whispering to him, or one of them was whispering to him to take him off. So any type of twinge at that stage, they were better off rather than risking any further. So we get him on the treatment table. Thankfully, we do have cover. So we don't, not that we want him out long term or anything like that. We I'm hoping he's okay. I'm hope the 2 weeks off now will do him the world of good, and that he can get back fully training at the end of it. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
I think so too. And look, Europe is a funny fish. You know, it's been a funny fish for us the whole way through. And, you know, there's a reason, like I can obviously, and I think everybody would agree here, it wasn't an immaculate performance from Aston Villa today. We've been better. We're better in the league at home, and we just have been. And when Europe has come, we've been maybe a notch. I'm not saying that we're like, this team needs to be playing at 100% high octane. And when you're playing at 90%, you can see the bit of a drop off. And also when you've got two new centre halves playing in there, you've got a new pivot partnership in front of them with Tielemans and Kamara, albeit that you can see there's a bit of simpatico coming there, which is really great to see. And for me, I suppose, and the fact that Diaby was playing right up top the whole game with Ollie Watkins, there were tweaks for this one. And then there was also tweaks mid-game as well that actually changed it. So, you know, just I think as well, I think as well that, you know, that there will be conversations, I suppose, over the next few. Well, depending on what result we get against Fulham, there will still be conversations about is Villa's form dropping off? Are they beginning to be found out? Like the commentators couldn't say it enough times that as they had found Villa out. And realistically, I don't think they really did. I think they played a couple of hopeful balls over the top and hoped that they would catch the offside trap. And for their goal, they did. And for their goal, they did because Longley was. I actually think Digne was caught and Longley had to compensate. And Longley went, "Crap, I'm caught here," and he made the move early, broke the line, and played Pavlidis onside. And I'm not too pissed off about that. Because
and it was very, very tight. Very tight.
Exactly.
I thought they made that decision very, very quickly. Probably too quickly for me. Probably too quickly because it's not what we're used to. But the play had gone on another 5 minutes before they showed us the ball line.
Out like that. It was literally it was like from the Hubble telescope or something like that. The angle.
How could we even see? How could they even see the lines that were drawn? You know. So how they did it that quickly when PGMOL can't do it when it's blatant and obvious that someone is offside, they can't do it. So look, it's a strange one. Remote property flipper makes a great point here. I think. Take the 3 points over the performance, especially after going 1-0 down. I think he's saying thank you very much there at the end.
That's the best point. That's the best point he made. Is to back to very much. Exactly. Yeah.
Is that Welsh? Is that what it is?
No, but I think you're right. You know, coming back from 1-0 down, even being at home, is. That's a huge positive. That's a huge positive. And just I was going back there to Paddy to just I was saying there that I'm not pissed off at all about the fact that their goal came from this breaking of the high line. Look, you play a high line, you're going to expect that they're going to get in behind you at some stage. You know, I think that you're going to expect they're going to get in behind you at some stage. Pavlidis is a really, really good striker. Martinez did a brilliant job of coming out to close down there. If you watch that from the behind the goal angle, you know, literally he puts it in that perfect position between Martinez's hip, between his legs and his hand when he comes out there. You know, if it's half a foot higher, it clips his hand. If it's half a foot lower, it clips his hip or his leg. You know, Pavlidis is a good striker, and there are good strikers in the Premier League. I'm not saying anything against that. But Premier League strikers have struggled to break our offside trap because Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa are brilliant at it. And that's where I'm getting at. Longley and Diego Carlos together are a new partnership. And as I say, I thought Longley was fine tonight. I've not seen a poor performance from him. And
Soupy Mark says Carlos came back on to celebrate the final whistle, so I guess it'd be okay.
I guess it'd be
okay. Just one more point to make, the negative point. Anne O'Grady says the commentators were negative about Villa from the start. I'm sorry, but Paul Dempsey needs to stick to the fucking boxing because he hasn't a bull's notion. I actually questioned, was he actually at the match at one stage, and then he did actually reference something that was going on off the ball, so he obviously was there. But at one point he said, "Oh, and now the AZ ALKMAAR fans are making all the noise." I could only hear Villa fans singing, so I honestly no idea what is being fought with us tonight.
I heard an ALKMAAR fan on a megaphone. I heard an ALKMAAR fan on a megaphone, Patty.
And we thought that was you.
Going, how did he get that into the stands? How did he get that into? But then again, the fella in the dog mask as well is that's going to be the big iconic photo from tonight. The lad in the cool concept shirt from '93 and the dog mask. Paddy texted me straight away. He goes, "See the fella in the dog mask? Obviously a fella who was banned."
Yeah. But I made the point about the megaphone as well. They take the fucking top off your Coke going into the stadium, and someone can bring in a megaphone, which could be a weapon. Anyway, it's it is what it is. I think we'll draw a line under this one because I think we should be pleased with the fact that we've come out of a relatively not a poor performance, but a good performance from AZ to keep us at bay, and then we managed to turn the screw and get the goal at the end. And I think we deserved it on chances created a little bit more than them, and obviously we had much more of the ball. I haven't looked at the stats possession, but at one stage it was 65%. I didn't look at it at the end. They did have a bit more of it in the second half. All right.
Yeah. No. Look. Europe, as I said before, AZ are a good team. They're one of only, as they referenced, they're one of only 7 teams that are unbeaten in the top 5 leagues in Europe, and 2 of them are in their division themselves in PSV. So they're unbeaten at home, unbeaten in the Dutch league. Take that for what you will. So they're not they're no mugs, and we've beaten them 6-2 on aggregate over the last 2 games. So, a 2-1 win is exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting them to be way better. When I saw their setup, specifically with Bruno Martins in there, you knew you were going to get a small bit more of a rougher day from the two centre halves against Ollie Watkins and Diaby, and they did well. But look, the big thing here about it is, Paddy, is they did well, yes, but they knew what we were going to do and they couldn't stop it twice. Well, they couldn't stop it once, and then obviously the corner. But actually, I'd say they couldn't stop it twice because, as I said before, Bailey was whipping him into the exact same spot every time. Matt Ryan was coming for him in the first half, and he was flapping at him. He flapped it 3 in a row. And I think in the first half we were an awful lot less lucky than people will give us credit for, because I thought we did things really well. We just didn't do them at a high pace, and we were methodical. And yes, I think we left opportunities behind us from not taking shots from outside the box. And yes, a lot of stuff broke down around the penalty area, which makes the team look like they're defending really well. But I think that they were actually shivering when we were crossing the ball and when Bailey was crossing it in for corners, or when we had corners.
Make you wonder. I
think that's
I don't
positive.
I don't know too much about the other guy, the fella that Paul Dempsey informed me played for Ajax, the centre half. It's
Passoir.
Him and Martins Indy. I don't think either of them headed the ball all night. All they were interested in doing was wrestling, fellas. That's the way it looked to me from, and that's why Ryan was coming for the ball. And maybe you and I had noticed that's how we could get at them, because literally. And in fairness to Leon Bailey, there's been many times he's taken a corner and not cleared the first man. Every one of them was spot on tonight. A lot of people asking in the comments why we're second in the league. It's based on head-to-head, and the fact that we lost Legia Warsaw has us in second place. So despite the fact that we've scored more, our goal difference is better, they're ahead of us on the head-to-head. So we need to beat them by a similar amount, by 1 in the next day. I don't know if away goals count or whatever, but I think if we beat them by 1, it comes down to goal difference then after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, I think if we beat them, I think Legia go to AZ. And I think if AZ have a chance of winning, a chance of qualifying in the last day of the season, I think that's where they've got to worry about. So we let them let them worry about that.
They could do a job on Legia. They could do.
We've Munster next, have we, Paddy?
No, we have.
We've Legia next
on the 30th of November. We have.
That's even better. I'm pinning my colours to the mast now, and I'm saying, play out a 0-0 draw, suspect 0-0 draw that will have everybody hating us and going, just to knock ALKMAAR out, and then see what happens if ALKMAAR then have a sting in the tail in the last day, then to beat Legia Warsaw, or even draw with Legia Warsaw, and then we go and we beat Munster, and then see if we top the league. That's what. Which
is not a given over there either, considering the number they did on ALKMAAR the first day. So anyway, just go and beat Legia Warsaw. That's all we need to do now, and then
exactly, beat Legia Warsaw, and we should finish top of the league. Should finish top of the group.
There's a few people saying that Villa have got an apology from the ref. If that's the case, the ref should have apologised to ALKMAAR as well for the corner that he missed.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
I'm surprised.
I want an apology because he was actually right for the first goal. But if I was an ALKMAAR fan, I'd be saying, what kind of clown is he, or is the linesman for giving that? Because he's like, the defender is nowhere near the ball for Kamara's miss, nowhere near it. But then again, I suppose that's the hindsight of being able to see it in all these different angles. So
I don't know what way the offside is governed at this stage, because I counted 3 occasions over the weekend where a fella put the ball in the net and the goal was awarded despite being offside on the first phase of play. I just don't understand it anymore. They've just made it way too complicated. A ball over the top, a fella can be offside, standing in an offside position, and then have the ball square to him to tap home. There's something not right there. I just, maybe it's just me being old school. Offside is offside. That's always what we grew up with. So it was, I find the offside rule very frustrating, and I thought, by what think I know at this stage, that they got our goal right, because I when I saw the ball go back out, I said, that's offside, I think. So anyway.
I thought so too. Yeah, look, and I think, you know what, to be honest with you, Paddy, look, it doesn't really matter. We won 2-1, and that's the crux of it, really, at the end of the day.
And maybe the Portuguese ref should just do everyone a favour and apologise to both managers for a shit performance, and then we'd be all good.
I thought he was poor. I thought he was poor as well. And we have a lot of comments there as well saying that he was poor too. Onwards to Fulham on this Sunday, and we will be back with a Fulham preview probably tomorrow night. So we will see you for that. I may be MIA for either the post match or for the team sheet tantrum on Fulham, because I have been reliably informed today that there's a family photo shoot happening on Sunday, to which apparently I have to attend. Apparently I'm part of the family, so I have to attend it, and it's on at 2:00 on. No, it's not. It was 2:00 and it's now been moved to some other time. So I don't know which one I'm going to miss, but I'm going to miss one of them on Sunday. But Fulham is really, really important game, and we will be back with some podcasts before that and after that game again, as we look forward towards the international break. And during the international break, I've got some podcasts lined up with some people I've been looking forward to speaking to. One for certain, potentially another two that are in the pipeline to chat to us, and potentially. That
sounds like a holiday for Paddy.
Yeah, well, no, because one of them may have played for Aston Villa before, Paddy. So
one of them, I think you're going to need me for.
That is very tentative. That one, if that one comes off, I will make sure everybody knows. But at the moment, it's very tentative, so I'm not expecting it. But if it is, Paddy, I'll definitely need you for that one. So listen, we're going to leave it at that. Aston Villa 2-1 versus ALKMAAR. Joint top of the league, and in good stead as we go into the international break. Fulham, as I say, on the horizon, and we will see you again for a preview of that tomorrow. Thanks a million to everybody, and also, sorry, I forgot to say this as well. Thanks a million to Matt Hanlon at the start. Luis and Watkins, big time heroes up the Villa. I'm so not putting a jinx in this in the 83rd minute. So Matt popped that in the 83rd minute for the stream started. But thank you so much for that, Matt. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for watching and for listening. Give it a thumbs up before you leave if you do like it. And if you aren't already subscribed to the audio podcast, which is exactly the same as this, except in audio form on any podcast platform, we'd really appreciate it if you do it. You don't even have to listen to it. You just have to, if you could just subscribe, it just gets it out there in the algorithm. And that's all we're looking for. If you can do that at all, it costs you nothing to do it. And it really helps us out too. So thanks a million, everyone. Really, really appreciate all your time. And as I say, go away, put the feet up for the rest of the afternoon, and we'll be back again with a Fulham preview. And in the meantime, all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.